We classify all of our fires 1 through 5. Type 5 fire being just a single tree lightning strike, manageable with an engine and 3 personnel essentially. A type 4 incident is a slightly more complex incident where there's multiple types of resources on it. Hand crews, engines, higher level of qualification for the individual that's the incident commander. That fire might be broken into smaller pieces for easier management. And we're talking about aircraft being on a type 4 incident. Typically that's a helicopter, maybe a retardant delivery system of a single engine air tanker. When we start talking about a type 3 fire, then we talk about an incident management team. And that consists of an IC, operations, plans chief, logistics chief, and a finance chief. So the overall management is getting much more complex, and we're talking upwards of 150 to potentially 200 plus people on the incident. Lots of different types of resources. Typically there are other values at risk, structures, infrastructure, power lines, highways being impinged, that sort of thing. So in the onset of a type 3 incident, we're talking a couple $100,000 right off the bat. I've been on several type 3 incidents as an operations chief or as an incident commander that have exceeded $1 million. Typically, and I say typically because, events today, you never know, but normally they don't exceed a $2 million sale. Now when we start talking about type 2 incidents, we're talking a 50-man roster of the incident management team, not necessarily exclusive federal folks working on that. The Almas's type 2 team that's currently managing the Sunnyside complex out of Orofino consists of a lot of IDL personnel in command positions. The 2 operations chiefs on that team are IDL individuals. Incidents like that can consist of multiple fires that one team is managing. Multiple resources, heavy air tankers that cost, basically $30,000 to $40,000 per drop. Type 1 helicopters that just sitting on the ground are $20,000 a day or more. We're talking anywhere from 300 to 900 and 1,000 people in the camp working the fire line. When we start talking about a type 1 incident, you start looking at Oregon, California. We have had type 1 incidents here in Idaho, but we're talking about multi-million dollar incidents, typically exceeding the $5 million mark or much higher. And again, that's where massive amounts of evacuations have occurred, potentially loss of life and severe damage to infrastructure. Normally in Idaho, we talk about the type 3 and type 2 teams. And our type 2 teams are very highly qualified and capable of managing very large, complex incidents that can include loss of life and damage to infrastructure. But our fires tend to be slightly smaller in acreage, and that's where we don't necessarily see those type 1 incidents as often. So essentially we can range from a couple $100 on a type 5 fire to millions of dollars on those type 1 and type 2 incidents.